Welcome to a world where the lines between virtual reality and existence have blurred into one. In this high-tech dystopian landscape, the game is no longer just a simulation. It's the new way of life. In this society, your career isn't chosen, it's awakened. Humans now undergo class awakening, a pivotal moment where they gain specialized abilities and powers to navigate this harsh new reality. The world is now littered with mysterious ruins, treacherous dungeons, and uncharted territories, each hiding secrets that defy the laws of nature. But where there's mystery, there's danger. Savage monsters and grotesque beasts have emerged from the shadows, ranging from massive cyclopean giants to multi-headed nightmares. For the brave, these monsters are more than just threats, they're opportunities. Hunting them provides the experience, raw materials, and legendary gear needed to ascend the ranks of power. Yet no matter how terrifying these beasts might seem, they all pale in comparison to a force that stands at the very top of the food chain. We're talking about dragons, absolute monarchs of the skies, and masters of overwhelming destruction. Rare, mystical, and possessing power that rivals the gods themselves, dragons are the ultimate nightmare for every living soul in this world. Our story shifts to the Dragon Kingdom's third high school, a prestigious institution where the next generation of hunters is being forged. Inside Classroom 25, the air is thick with tension. It's orientation day for the class awakening, the single most important event in these students' lives. The teacher slams his hand on the board, demanding total focus as their destinies are about to be revealed. The teacher explains that in this world, class awakening is the only path to changing one's fate. Whether you become a hero or a commoner is decided right here, right now. As the ceremony begins, a student is called forward. The tension in the room is palpable. Every eye is glued to the magical circle that will reveal their destiny. Suddenly, a brilliant light erupts from the platform. It's a successful awakening. The student is granted the class of warrior, a solid start that guarantees a future in the front lines. Next up is a student with high expectations. As the magic flows through him, a rare notification appears: mage. The class erupts in whispers. Mages are highly valued for their devastating area of effect attacks. Amidst the excitement, we see our protagonist looking calm but focused. He knows that his turn is coming, and in a world where power is everything, he can't afford to be average. The teacher calls out the next name, and the protagonist steps onto the platform. The magical circle begins to glow, but the light is different, deeper, and more intense than the others. The interface flickers, showing signs of an unusual synchronization. The students murmur, wondering if they are about to witness a rare or even legendary class awakening. A notification window pops up before his eyes. It's not a standard combat class. The system identifies a unique hidden trait, leaving the protagonist momentarily stunned. The teacher's eyes widen as he reads the result. This isn't just a high-tier class, it's something the kingdom hasn't seen in decades. The atmosphere in the room shifts from curiosity to pure shock. As the light fades, the protagonist stands at the center of the stage, his status window finally stabilizing. The true journey begins now, as he realizes that his new power comes with a target on his back. Suddenly, the teacher receives a call. He confirms that the awakening platform is ready and the ceremony is officially about to commence. The news sends the classroom into a frenzy of excitement and nerves as the students realize their destinies are only moments away. While his classmates cheer and rush to the platform, Lu Fan remains momentarily lost in thought, the weight of the moment pressing down on him. Noticing his hesitation, the teacher approaches. He reassures Lu Fan, noting that as the top student in the section, he has nothing to fear. At that exact moment, a digital interface flickers before Lu Fan's eyes. Congratulations! The Super Treasure Map system has been successfully activated. Lu Fan is paralyzed. This is the golden finger every transmigrator dreams of, appearing at the most critical juncture of his life. The teacher, seeing Lu Fan staring into thin air, asks if he's even listening. Lu Fan is snapped back to reality by the sudden interruption. Apologizing quickly, Lu Fan bolsters his courage and sprints toward the awakening hall, leaving his confused teacher behind. His heart is racing. He thinks to himself, how could a transmigrator exist without a system? His confidence is now at an all-time high. But as he slides down the stairs and rushes forward, a practical question enters his mind. What exactly does this treasure map system do? Lu Fan pushes his worries aside, deciding to figure out the system's specifics later. He lands on his feet, ready to face the immediate challenge. With a surge of energy, he sprints down the school hallway. The career ceremony is his top priority right now, and he can't afford to be a second late. He finally enters the grand hall and sees the awakening crystal for the first time. The room is dead silent, and the sheer scale of the event makes him incredibly nervous. Standing among the crowd, Lu Fan dreams big. What if I awaken a hidden combat profession? Meanwhile, his classmates are more realistic, just hoping to get a basic subsistence job to survive. An elderly man with a long beard, the school principal, introduces the priest who will be hosting this year's ceremony. Lu Fan observes the priest and notes the domineering aura he gives off. It's clear that the aura of a high-level combat professional is on a whole different level. Suddenly, his system chimes in. You have acquired a new skill, Eye of Appraisal. Lu Fan is caught off guard by this unexpected bonus. He decides to test his new skill immediately. Focusing his gaze on the priest standing on the podium, an appraisal window pops up, revealing shocking details. The priest is level 29 and possesses the Profession Awakening skill. But it's the next line that kills him. Lu Fan's jaw drops as he reads the priest's net worth. 5 million dragon coins? He realizes just how lucrative being a high-level professional can actually be. The priest demands absolute silence, his voice booming through the hall. The chatter dies down instantly as the authority of a high-level professional takes over. A hush falls over the entire student body. Everyone stands in anticipation, knowing that the next few minutes will determine the course of their lives. The priest officially begins the ceremony, instructing those whose names are called to step forward and face their destiny on the stage. Lu Fan remains fixated on the priest's massive wealth. He realizes that even if his aunt spent her entire life selling buns, she could never dream of earning such a staggering amount. The first name is called Zhang Tao. The students whisper in excitement, recognizing him as the top student of their section. All eyes are on him. Zhang Tao walks forward with immense confidence. His high base attributes make him a prime candidate for a top-tier combative profession, and the crowd knows it. As Zhang Tao approaches the awakening crystal, the priest begins the ritual. Ancient glowing runes swirl around them, signaling the start of the deep resonance. The crystal erupts in a violent surge of energy. Intense heat and flames begin to coalesce, reacting to Zhang Tao's internal potential. The results are undeniable. A massive fireball manifests. The crowd erupts in cheers as they realize Zhang Tao has awakened as a pyromancer, a powerful combat class. Zhang Tao stands proudly with a flame dancing in his palm. He has secured a bright future, immediately becoming the center of admiration, and even a few bold date requests from his peers. Seeing Zhang Tao's success, Lu Fan's resolve hardens. He knows that becoming a combat professional is his only ticket out of a life of struggle and poverty. The priest's patience wears thin. He barks at the students to keep quiet and hurry along, maintaining the brisk pace of the ceremony. The results for others aren't as glamorous. One student awakens as a herbalist. Though he tries to stay positive about carrying on his family business, the disappointment is clear. The reality of the system's randomness hits hard. A muscular student is devastated to awaken as a tailor, a profession that feels completely mismatched with his personal tastes. Another student is left in despair after awakening as a miner. These subsistence professions offer a stable life but zero chance for the glory or wealth of a combat class. Lu Fan observes the grim scene, realizing that combat professionals are truly a tiny minority. The vast majority of his peers are destined for ordinary lives. While a lucky few celebrate their unlimited possibilities after awakening combat roles, the atmosphere in the hall remains heavy for most. A girl weeps quietly in the crowd. For her and many others, failing to awaken a combat class feels like a death sentence to a life of mediocrity. Lu Fan watches a student walk away, noting that even among those who don't get combat roles, some results are still considered good compared to the alternatives. He then notices Li Ping from Section 3, who is crying inconsolably. She awakened as a reinforcing professional, which sounds good on paper, but her poor family cannot afford the massive costs required to train her. In this cruel world, sometimes a higher profession is actually a curse. Lu Fan stands in the crowd, deep in thought. He's burdened by the realization that awakening a non-combat or expensive reinforcing class would be a disaster for his family, rendering all of Aunt Han Key's hard work in vain. The moment of truth finally arrives as Teacher Li's voice cuts through the hall. Lu Fan from Section 25, get to the platform. The announcement snaps him back to reality, his heart pounding with both nerves and anticipation. As Lu Fan walks toward the stage, he inadvertently draws several admiring glances. His peers can't help but notice his handsome, calm exterior, while whispering curiously about what kind of power he truly possesses. Standing before the glowing awakening crystal, Lu Fan takes a steady breath and places his hands on it. He tells himself that anxiety is now a luxury he can't afford. His destiny is in the hands of the system now. The priest initiates the ritual, and the platform erupts with ancient golden runes. The crystal begins to resonate with Lu Fan's soul, but the energy feels far more intense and primal than it did for anyone else. Lu Fan closes his eyes, focusing inward as the connection deepens. A silent, overwhelming resonance begins to stir from the depths of his being, as if an ancient power is being dragged into the light. Suddenly, a colossal, terrifying slit-pupil eye the dragon's glare manifests in a vision. Cold, majestic, and overflowing with godlike authority, it signals the awakening of a force beyond mortal understanding. The sheer intensity of the awakening causes the entire hall to shake violently. Panicked students clutch their heads and shout in terror, believing a massive earthquake is tearing the building apart. A blinding pillar of celestial light erupts from the crystal, piercing through the roof of the hall and shooting into the sky. The sheer pressure of the mana makes even the foundations of the school tremble. As the energy stabilizes, a massive dark dragon tail manifests above the platform. The crowd is frozen in pure awe and terror as they witness the birth of a legend. Lu Fan has awakened a dragon tier awakening. A massive cinematic dragon shadow manifests above the stage, sending shockwaves through the hall. A dragon? Lu Fan's awakening actually summoned a dragon. This phenomenon only happens when a rare hidden profession appears. Teacher Lee's section has officially produced the school's first hidden professional. Speculation immediately begins among the faculty. Is it a dragon blood warrior or a Dova mage? The principal is in complete disbelief. He sees a potential new powerhouse for the Dragon Kingdom standing right before his eyes. Someone who could rewrite history. It is revealed that it's been 10 years since the last top-tier expert, a dragon blood warrior, appeared. The weight of this historical moment hangs heavy in the air. Teacher Lee is sweating profusely, his heart racing with a mix of fear and excitement as he watches his student at the center of the storm. An ancient, ethereal dragon roar echoes throughout the school, shaking the very souls of everyone present and affirming the dragon's power. Energy erupts from the awakening crystal in a blinding flash. The sheer pressure of the mana creates a shockwave that throws nearby students backward. As the light fades and the dust settles, Lu Fan stands at the center of the stage, shielding his eyes from the lingering energy of the ritual. The priest completely loses his composure, lunging forward to grab Lu Fan's shoulders. "Kid, which one is it? Dragon Blood Warrior or Dova Mage?" Lu Fan's face is cast in shadow, looking absolutely gloomy. "I am a Dragon Tamer," he whispers. The hall goes silent as everyone realizes he has the legendary but worthless class. Total silence. The priest, Teacher Lee, and the other faculty members are frozen in absolute disbelief. The shock is visible on every face in the room. The priest stumbles back, his hands trembling. He can't believe such a grand and spectacular awakening resulted in such a tragic outcome. The hall erupts in murmurs of pity and mockery. The most worthless profession. Dragon Tamer. A class that sounds legendary but is practically a death sentence in this world. After the awakening ceremony, Lu Fan walks through the old town of Jianghai City while checking the status panel of his hidden profession. Dragon Tamer. Lu Fan studies his profession details and sees that Dragon Tamer allows him to tame dragons and dragon-like creatures, though many skills remain unknown. People begin realizing that although Dragon Tamer is a hidden profession, it may actually be considered impractical, because dragons are nearly impossible to tame. Some students question why Dragon Tamer is called weak when it is one of the 3 legendary dragon-related hidden professions. An elder explains that most people can't even find dragons, making Dragon Tamer less useful than professions like Summoner, despite its hidden status. The elder comforts Lu Fan by saying the profession still has limitless potential and suggests taming weaker sub-dragon species to grow stronger. Lu Fan doubts the elder's encouragement, wondering how a Dragon Tamer can have limitless potential without a true dragon. The story explains that sub-dragon species are merely ferocious beasts and are incomparable to genuine dragons. Throughout the 800-year history of the Dragon Kingdom, dragons have appeared before, but no dragon tamer has ever successfully tamed one. The narration states that humans are insignificant before dragons, and Lu Fan realizes that taming a real dragon seems like an impossible dream. Lu Fan realizes that without dragons, he cannot improve as a dragon tamer or even unlock most of his profession skills, making him worry about disappointing his aunt. Lost in thought, Lu Fan arrives at his home, a humble steamed bun shop where he and his aunt live together. Lu Fan notices he has already returned home without realizing it because he was so focused on his bleak future. Lu Fan enters the house and greets his aunt warmly as she prepares dinner for him. Han Kei, Lu Fan's beautiful aunt and a chef-class professional, welcomes him home with a table full of delicious food. Han Kei affectionately hugs Lu Fan and happily celebrates his return after the awakening ceremony. Han Kei excitedly asks Lu Fan whether today was the most important day of his life, and wants to know which profession he awakened. Lu Fan hesitates to answer, making Han Kei realize that he may not have awakened a strong combat profession. Instead of being disappointed, Han Kei comforts Lu Fan and says she would rather he stay safe than risk his life fighting monsters every day. Lu Fan suddenly raises his voice and tells his aunt, "No, aunt." While showing a dark and frustrated expression, he finally admits that he actually awakened the Dragon Tamer profession, something considered extremely rare and powerful. Lu Fan explains the problem with his class. Without dragons, he cannot do anything or use the true abilities of a dragon tamer. Instead of panicking, Han-Ke simply smiles warmly after hearing Lu Fan's explanation. Han-Ke wraps her arms around Lu Fan's neck and comforts him, saying that even without a dragon, becoming a dragon tamer already proves he is truly talented and strong. She continues encouraging him, promising to support him in the future whether he goes to college or helps her run the steamed bunsha. After hearing his aunt's comforting words, Lu Fan gradually regains his cheerful mood and jokes about being unable to finish all the food on the table. Later that night, after dinner is over, Lu Fan returns to his room and collapses onto his bed, exhausted both physically and emotionally. While lying in bed, Lu Fan thinks about how young his aunt still is, and how hard she has worked for years, yet their life has remained ordinary and difficult. Lu Fan becomes frustrated again as he thinks about his future. He believes Dragon Tamer would truly be an overpowered hidden profession if only he could find a dragon, but he has no idea where to get one. While lying in bed, Lu Fan suddenly notices a strange system notification appearing before him. The message congratulates him for receiving a Day 1 treasure map, leaving him shocked and confused. Lu Fan remembers that the mysterious ability activated earlier was called the Super Treasure Map System. He realizes he has received a divine-level treasure map on the very first day. As he studies the system further, Lu Fan recalls that he only tested its appraisal function before and never explored its true treasure map abilities. He then activates the map feature. The system explains that treasure maps are divided into 4 ranks: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and divine level, with the divine rank being the rarest and most valuable. The system reveals another function. 3 identical low-level treasure maps can be merged together into a higher-level treasure map. A detailed explanation appears, saying that every day, Lu Fan will receive a random treasure map linked to his profession, and if he follows the map, he can obtain treasures related to his class. Lu Fan reflects on how Dragon Tamer is widely considered the weakest profession, because taming dragons is almost impossible. However, he begins wondering if the system can change his fate. Imagining a powerful dragon standing before him, Lu Fan becomes excited and thinks that if he uses the system properly, he may be able to close the gap between the weakest and strongest professions. Lu Fan realizes that this divine-level treasure map might be his final chance to completely turn his life around and escape his hopeless situation. Determined not to disappoint his aunt or remain at the bottom of society forever, Lu Fan decisively presses the accept button and resolves to follow the treasure map no matter what. Lu Fan checks the treasure map and discovers that the target location is Mount Shi Basin, a level 10 to 20 region located not far from Jianhai City. He immediately realizes the place is reachable. Excited by the opportunity, Lu Fan thinks that if he catches the last suburban bus during the night, he can arrive at Mount Shi Basin early the next morning and start searching right away. A narration panel marks the passage of time with the words "early morning," signaling the start of Lu Fan's journey. The story briefly shows the quiet city streets before dawn, creating a calm atmosphere as everyone is still asleep while Lu Fan prepares to leave secretly. Lu Fan's aunt wakes up yawning in her nightdress and casually turns on the lights, unaware that Lu Fan is already planning to leave home. She notices a piece of paper left on the table and becomes curious, realizing that Lu Fan may have gone somewhere unexpectedly. Looking toward Lu Fan's empty room, she softly calls out Fan with concern after discovering he is no longer home. Meanwhile, Lu Fan is already traveling by bus through the mountains at night. A letter narration begins with him addressing his aunt and explaining his decision. Sitting calmly on the bus with determination in his eyes, Lu Fan writes that he is heading to Mount Shi Basin because this may be his only chance to change the fate of a dragon tamer. Lu Fan promises his aunt not to worry about him and says that he will return soon. The scene ends with him stepping forward confidently toward his uncertain future. Lu Fan continues his journey toward Mount Shi Basin, carrying a huge backpack and promising himself that he will make sure he and his aunt can live a better life in the future. Lu Fan finally arrives at the outskirts of Mount Shi Basin late at night. Standing alone beneath the starry sky, he prepares to enter the dangerous region. Without hesitation, Lu Fan starts moving deeper into the rocky wilderness, determined to find an opportunity that can change his destiny. As Lu Fan walks through the area, someone suddenly grabs his shoulder from behind, instantly putting him on alert. A suspicious one-eyed man approaches Lu Fan with a creepy smile and asks whether he wants to travel together, making Lu Fan immediately wary. Lu Fan refuses the offer politely, but internally suspects that these strangers may actually be dungeon robbers targeting lone travelers. The group reveals itself more clearly: a muscular man, a sly one-eyed man, and a woman holding a knife. They surround Lu Fan while pretending to act friendly. The robbers continue pressuring Lu Fan, believing that dealing with someone young and alone like him would be easy. They ask if he has made up his mind yet. Lu Fan quickly realizes the group has already figured out that he is suspicious of them. He becomes tense and prepares himself for possible danger. The suspicious group continues surrounding Lu Fan and once again invites him to travel together, clearly trying to pressure him. Lu Fan firmly refuses their offer again, insisting that there is no need for companions despite the tense atmosphere. The pink-haired woman warns Lu Fan that he does not understand the dangers and rules of surviving alone in the wilderness at night. The woman continues intimidating Lu Fan by claiming that the dangers hiding in the night are far greater than he can imagine. Internally, Lu Fan decides to avoid direct confrontation because he currently lacks combat skills. He reminds himself that as a summoner, he can rely on elemental creatures if danger appears. After hearing Lu Fan mention his summoner abilities, the suspicious trio suddenly becomes startled and reevaluates him. The one-eyed man quickly changes his attitude, pretending that they were only concerned for Lu Fan's safety before telling the group to leave. As the group departs, the pink-haired woman whispers closely to Lu Fan, hinting that she hopes they may meet again someday. The woman flirts with Lu Fan one last time, calling him a handsome boy while giving him a seductive smile. The pink-haired woman says goodbye playfully and blows Lu Fan a kiss before leaving together with her companions into the night. After separating from the suspicious group, Lu Fan reflects that the wilderness is still safer than traveling with robbers who might betray him at any moment. Lu Fan sighs over his lack of strength and realizes that without power, survival in this world is extremely fragile and uncertain. Determined not to waste time, Lu Fan checks his map and decides to continue his journey as quickly as possible. While moving through the dark forest, Lu Fan carefully pushes through thick bushes and remains alert for danger. Lu Fan discovers a group of level 8 power horn horses grazing nearby and immediately becomes cautious. He realizes that although the power horn horses are normally peaceful, provoking them would be disastrous since he currently has no combat skills. To avoid unnecessary danger, Lu Fan decides to take a detour around the herd instead of risking confrontation. Even after choosing the safer route, Lu Fan feels increasingly nervous as strange beasts continue surrounding his path. Lu Fan carefully walks among level 7 giant horn antelopes while desperately hoping he is getting closer to his destination. While hurrying through the forest, Lu Fan accidentally steps on a frog, causing it to croak loudly and startling both him and the nearby creatures. Lu Fan gets surrounded by a herd of giant horn antelopes after accidentally disturbing them. One antelope roars at him. Lu Fan curses. Damn it, I eventually succeeded in disturbing them. As the herd stampedes, Lu Fan leaps and dives to the air to escape the stampede. He crashes hard onto the ground. Dazed, he mutters, While picking himself up, Lu Fan reflects bitterly that he can't even handle a timid giant horn antelope. He opens the system and tells himself, if I miss this opportunity, my fate will be like that frog. The system activates. You have arrived at the designated treasure map location. Lu Fan whispers in disbelief, Is this? Lu Fan confirms the location and exclaims, this is really the place. He finds a hidden cave entrance glowing red between two massive rocks. He cheers, woohoo! This is the location indicated by the treasure map clue. Inside the cave, Lu Fan spots something and mutters, this is the treasure that can change the fate of a dragon tamer. He reaches toward a glowing object. The system reveals it, a dragon egg. The egg begins cracking. Scrack. System identifies it. Black dragon egg level, Thiba. Lu Fan watches, it's hatching. The dragon is about to be born. Lu Fan suddenly hears a rustling sound outside the cave and tenses up. He draws his novice cleaver and thinks, so far everything went smoothly. But it seems I can't escape the nose of a wild beast. A creature lunges at him from the dark. Lu Fan barely blocks with his blade. The attacker is revealed. A bloodthirsty gray fox with red eyes. It snarls and howls ferociously. The gray fox attacks with explosive speed. Lu Fan clashes blade against claw in a fierce struggle. Lu Fan lets out a battle cry and retaliates with a powerful strike, pushing the fox back. Lu Fan stands panting. Huff, huff. After the exchange, system shows enemy stats, Bloodthirsty Gray Fox, level 10. Skills, Triple Claw Strike, Bloodthirst Recovery, ESP 120. Materials, Fox Fur worth 80 dragon coins. Lu Fan analyzes Triple Claw Strike and Bloodthirst Recovery. It can make the target bleed and recover its own health. He realizes the fox is far more dangerous than expected. The black dragon egg keeps cracking behind him. Lu Fan panics. Damn it, I don't have any skills to deal with this. Lu Fan thinks of stalling until the dragon hatches to use Dragon Taming, but realizes the fox is too fast. It's too fast. I can't stall until then. Lu Fan is knocked down by the fox's attack. Ouch. Bleeding from the arm, Lu Fan thinks. I can't let it use Bloodthirst Recovery. I have to strike when it winds up for Triple Claw Strike. He counts 3. The fox launches Triple Claw Strike. Lu Fan blocks with his blade. It nearly shatters. He counts 2. The fox leaps up with claws raised. going for the final hit. The fox slams down one. Lu Fan endures the blow and holds his ground. Lu Fan shouts, "Now!" seizing the split-second opening after the fox completes its combo. Lu Fan drives his blade into the fox with a decisive counter, landing a killing blow. System notification: you have defeated a bloodthirsty gray fox. Reward, plus 120 XP. The fox is dead. Lu Fan wins. Lu Fan sighs in relief. Phew. I got rid of it. A voice from the shadows. Hee, you really took it down. The robber trio has been watching the whole time. The one-eyed man and the muscular man appear. The muscular man says, "How impressive of you, young man." Lu Fan confronts them. "Have you been following me? I already said I won't join you." The pink-haired woman smiles. "No need to be nervous, handsome boy." The one-eyed man accuses, "You deceived us. You said you were a summoner, so why didn't you use any skills when you got injured?" Lu Fan stays silent, then tosses the fox fur. "If you want the fox fur, take it. Stop bothering me," and dashes away. The one-eyed man reacts, "Ha," then smirks, "Haha. Young man, you are pretty interesting." The one-eyed man holds up the fox carcass. "This fox fur is only worth 80 dragon coins. How long must we persuade you to get our share?" The one-eyed man stares coldly. "What we want is not this." The one-eyed man opens his coat to reveal the glowing black dragon egg. He has already stolen it from Lu Fan. Lu Fan's eyes go wide as he realizes the egg is gone. The robbers had the real target all along. Lu Fan is furious. "These bastards, they saw me looking for the dragon egg." The muscular man shouts, "Attack!" The entire robber trio charges at Lu Fan all at once. The muscular man lands a heavy punch on Lu Fan. Corch! Lu Fan gets sent flying and slams hard into the ground. The pink-haired woman pins Lu Fan down and holds a blade to his throat. "Don't move, handsome, or you'll get scratched." The one-eyed man mocks. "Young man, you underestimate the dungeon robber's sense of smell for treasures." The muscular man shouts, "Hi, from the cave!" He has found something inside. The muscular man walks out holding the black dragon egg and grins. "Look what I found." Lu Fan panics. "Oh no, this is bad." The one-eyed man orders, "We've got the treasure." "Kill him." The pink-haired woman says, "It's such a pity, handsome, but we have to bid farewell." The one-eyed man admires, "Whoa, what a beautiful egg." Lu Fan watches in despair from under the blade. Lu Fan thinks, "That's my only chance to turn the tables. I can't let them take away the dragon egg." The dragon egg suddenly cracks open with a massive burst of energy. The dragon is hatching. A small black dragon bursts out of the egg, shocking everyone. The robbers yell, What kind of monster is that?" Lu Fan stares wide-eyed and whispers, "That's." The newborn black dragon spreads its wings and dives down with glowing red eyes, moving at terrifying speed. The muscular man throws a green orb and yells, "Get away!" trying to repel the dragon with a skill. The newborn black dragon, tiny but already fierce, locks onto the muscular man, with the green energy orb still flying at it. The dragon ignores the green orb and charges straight through it, heading toward the muscular man. The muscular man is overwhelmed, even just hatched. The black dragon overpowers him completely. The newborn black dragon roars furiously with glowing red eyes and wide-open jaws, radiating overwhelming power. The black dragon unleashes a frenzied burst of energy, tearing through everything around it in a violent red storm. The one-eyed man says, in shock as the dragon wrecks everything. The muscular man is sent flying and bleeding badly. Lu Fan shouts at the dragon, "No! Shh! Stop!" Shishant, trying to stop it from killing the robbers. The one-eyed man screams, "H, help me! Harry! Help me!" The pink-haired woman mutters in disbelief, "I never imagined." Lu Fan is stunned. Even a newly hatched dragon can be so powerful. No wonder no one can tame the dragons. The pink-haired woman shrieks, "Dragon? It's a dragon? What did you say? This was actually a dragon egg," as the dragon looms over her. The pink-haired woman is blown back by the shockwave from the dragon's wings, her face pale with terror. The black dragon stands fully revealed, dark armored scales with red lava cracks, horns, and massive wings. The robbers lie defeated around it. The pink-haired woman, trembling, can barely hold her blade as the dragon stares her down. Lu Fan seizes the opening, strikes the pink-haired woman, and disarms her. He shouts, "The dungeon robber's sense of smell is too dull, attempting to steal the dragon rightfully mine. This is the destiny you chose. Orc!" The black dragon notices Lu Fan and turns toward him with a, "Huh?" unsure whether he is friend or foe. Lu Fan reaches out his hand and activates his class skill, Dragon Taming Technique. The dragon tilts its head curiously and goes, "Q?" The taming energy washes over it. A new figure appears on the battlefield in a blaze of light. The pink-haired woman screams, "Quay, who are you?" The newcomer smirks. Phew, you wanted to know who I am, right? Lu Fan stands victorious with the tamed black dragon at his feet and declares, I am not just a summoner, I am a Dragon Tamer. System notification. Black Dragon Covenant has been established. Skills unlocked. Dragon Claw, Dragon Fang Strike. Dragon's Inspiration. The pink-haired woman cowers before the dragon and begs, spare me. I didn't know that was a dragon egg. Lu Fan stands as a dark silhouette with the black dragon behind him, wings spread wide. He confronts the robbers. You despicable robbers, how many people have you schemed against? The woman screams, no, I didn't. I. Stout, Lu Fan coldly tells the pink-haired woman. Go join your comrades, sending her flying to join the rest of the defeated robbers. The black dragon swoops down toward the pink-haired woman. She screams, don't. As the dragon's massive claw reaches for her, the dragon strikes, arc! Blood splashes everywhere as the pink-haired woman takes a direct hit. Dawn breaks. The battlefield is quiet. Lu Fan sits calmly beside the resting black dragon, checking his status panel as the sun rises over the wasteland. Lu Fan sighs in relief. Shoo! Finally it's over. He sits on the black dragon's back, bandaging his wounds. Lu Fan stares at the dragon in disbelief. I can't believe it. Still stunned that he actually tamed a real dragon, Lu Fan laughs and holds the dragon up. Haha, all right, you're way too lively. The dragon growls back playfully. Grrr! Lu Fan stands triumphantly on the black dragon's head under the night sky and declares, I truly crossed the gap between the weakest and the strongest. Lu Fan marvels in chibi form. It's so powerful right after hatching. I can't even imagine how strong it will be after leveling up. The dragon tilts its head curiously. Lu Fan hugs the little dragon affectionately and proclaims, soon the title of Dragon Tamer will no longer be called the weakest class. Lu Fan wonders, but what should I call you? Little Coal Ball? No. Black Diamond? No, no. Black Diamond? No, no. As he carries the dragon in his arms, Lu Fan says, then let's go with. But before he finishes, the dragon suddenly bites his arm. Lu Fan shouts, wait, what are you doing? The dragon wraps itself around Lu Fan's arm, channeling red dragon energy, seemingly activating some kind of power transfer. Lu Fan screams, wah, as a torrent of red energy bursts out from the dragon, overwhelming him completely. The red energy transforms. A mysterious figure with long red hair, horns, dragon wings, and a tail emerges from the flames in a dramatic full-body reveal. Lu Fan stares in shock. What the? You. A stunning woman with red hair, horns, wings, and a dragon tail stand before him. Lu Fan is completely speechless. What on earth is going on? The black dragon has transformed into a breathtaking human form. Red hair flowing, horns curving upward, dark wings spread wide. Lu Fan stares at her in stunned silence before quietly noting that she can apparently take on a human shape after all. In the corner, a tiny chibi version of the dragon stares back at him with wide, curious eyes. Lu Fan opens his status panel. He is now a level 10 Dragon Tamer with solid base stats across the board. 4 skills have been unlocked, and at the bottom of the panel sits his newly formed contract, a legendary black dragon at level 1. Lu Fan reviews his status screen while the black dragon flutters around him in both her small and semi-human forms, sniffing and poking at everything with innocent curiosity. He confirms what he had hoped. The moment he successfully tamed a real dragon, every locked skill opened up at once. Lu Fan reads through his skills carefully, his expression growing more impressed with each line. The dragon's Inspire Saint skill alone boosts both him and his dragon by 30% across all stats, a buff that outclasses even a dedicated priestess support class. He can barely contain his excitement. He keeps reading. Dragon Fang Strike hits like a freight train, while Dragon Claw lets him channel his dragon's raw power directly through his own arm. He imagines the black dragon's massive jaws tearing through an enemy and grins. The potential is enormous. Lu Fan taps on the black dragon's icon in his panel, and thinks about how absurd the situation is. Even setting aside the dragon entirely, his own personal stats are already several times higher than an average professional at the same level. He could walk through a fight with his eyes closed. The black dragon's full stats appear on screen. Every attribute sits in the hundreds, and her skill list is terrifying. A charge that causes continuous bleeding, a flame breath that heals her while burning enemies, and a passive that cuts all damage she takes in half while making her nearly impossible to debuff. On top of everything else, there is a blood-packed ability that directly feeds a portion of her power to Lu Fan. Lu Fan stares at the numbers and feels a chill run down his spine, in a good way. He has contracted a level 1 hatchling, and yet the combined power already puts him beyond any 120 levels his senior. The bloodline connection alone doubled all of his own attributes the instant the contract formed. No wonder he felt like a completely different person the moment taming succeeded. A vision sweeps through Lu Fan's mind. The black dragon standing behind him like a force of nature, massive and absolute, blotting out the sky. He thinks about the other legendary hidden professions and realizes there is simply no comparison. Dragons sit above everything else in the food chain. They always have. Lu Fan smirks, his conclusion settled. Dragon Tamer is the strongest hidden profession. No question about it. He imagines the other two legendary classes standing in the distance, and they look small. Lu Fan watches the dragon in her semi-human form sitting nearby on the ground, nibbling on something with little crunching sounds, completely unbothered. She looks powerful and mysterious, but right now she just looks like a creature doing what creatures do. He smiles and asks what he should call her. He thinks for a moment, a little black dragon, born just before the break of dawn. The name comes to him naturally. He suggests calling her Xiaoye, meaning night. The dragon's eyes light up and she lets out a happy cry, her whole small body wiggling with approval. Lu Fan takes that as a yes. Lu Fan exhales and admits to himself that the whole ordeal was absolutely worth it. He looks over at Xiaoye and notices she seems a little restless. He asks if she is hungry. She tilts her head and makes a small questioning sound. Lu Fan gets to his feet with a grin. He declares that it is time to go hunt something for Xiaoye to eat. Beyond feeding her, he also reminds himself they cannot head home empty-handed. There is still work to be done out here. Lu Fan gazes ahead with quiet confidence. The university entrance trial is approaching fast, and he knows students across the region are already out in the field pushing their limits. He cannot afford to fall behind. He clenches his fist and commits to the plan. Leveling up and sharpening his skills has to come first. He calls out to Xiaoye and tells her they are heading deeper into Mount Shi Basin. Xiaoye perks up immediately at the mention of more monsters. The two press further into the basin. The landscape stretches out in shades of rust and dust beneath an open sky. Suddenly, Xiaoye lets out a low, rumbling growl and darts forward, pulling Lu Fan's attention sharply ahead. In the distance, a cloud of dust is rising fast. Something is charging toward them, and there are a lot of them. Lu Fan crouches low and narrows his eyes, his system panel flickering to life as he tries to identify what is coming. The system locks on. Plains hyenas, unranked, but dangerous. They hit hard, cause bleeding, and can rot their targets from the inside with a disease debuff. Each one is worth nearly 4 times the experience of the gray fox. Lu Fan tenses as he recognizes that these creatures are a serious step up from anything he has faced before. Lu Fan steadies himself and reminds himself that last time, even beating a single level 10 gray fox left him battered and bleeding. But that was before Xiaoye. He draws his blade in a single clean motion, eyes sharp. This time is different. Xiaoye dives straight into the hyena pack with a savage grin, fists raised and eyes blazing. Far below, Lu Fan watches her tear through the herd from the ground, cool and unbothered. She is clearly having the time of her life. Lu Fan smirks as he watches Xiaoye go to work. He had a feeling she would want to be the one to charge in first. The two of them carve through the plains hyenas, like the monsters were never a threat to begin with. Lu Fan narrates to himself with quiet confidence. For the strongest dragon tamer and his dragon, Mount Shi Basin holds absolutely no danger. Absolutely none. 2 massive hyenas snap and snarl on either side as Xiaoye hovers between them in her small dragon form, wings spread wide, completely fearless. The hyenas let out a thunderous roar, but she does not even flinch. Xiaoye stands amid the flames and smoke, back arched, one leg raised mid-kick, her expression ferocious. She is not defending, she is hunting. Xiaoye unleashes lava flame. A wall of fire erupts across the entire battlefield, swallowing the hyenas whole. Experience notifications flood the screen for both her and Lu Fan as the monsters drop one after another. The experience from the slaughter pushes both of them up. Lu Fan hits level 11, and Xiaoye shoots up 2 levels in a row, reaching level 3 almost instantly. Xiaoye continues picking off the remaining hyenas while experience keeps rolling in. Lu Fan watches the numbers and decides the pace is too slow. If they want to level up faster, they need bigger prey. Elite monsters. Lu Fan grins and calls out to Xiaoye with a casual confidence, telling her there is no point wasting their time on small fry like these. He glances toward the cliffs and tells her something bigger has been waiting for them. Deep in the shadows ahead, 2 pairs of glowing red eyes stare back from within a cloud of dark smoke. Experience notifications continue ticking up in the background as the last hyenas fall. A massive clawed paw slams into the ground, shaking the earth. A deep, rumbling growl rolls out from inside the smoke. Whatever is in there is enormous, and it is aware of them. The smoke clears just enough to reveal it fully. A 3-headed blood lion, level 25, an elite boss. 3 heads, white glowing eyes, mane soaked in red. The system panel reads its skills, a roar that buffs its own attack and defense, a stomp that devastates everything in range, and a triple flame attack that requires charging. It is worth a mountain of experience and valuable materials. Lufan stares at it and quietly acknowledges, this is a real elite boss. Lufan knows full well that under normal circumstances, it would take an entire team of seasoned hunters just to get close to something like this. But he is not under normal circumstances. He pumps his fist and calls out to Xiaoye. She roars back in answer, already moving. The three-headed bloodlion opens all three mouths at once and unleashes its roar skill. The shockwave tears across the ground and slams into Lufan, nearly knocking him off his feet. The system confirms that the lion has buffed both its attack and defense for the duration. All three heads tilt back, and the lion begins gathering fire into a single massive sphere of flame above it. The charge is building. The triple flame is coming. 3 consecutive fire explosions that will blanket the entire area. There is no surviving that if it goes off. Lufan shouts at Xiaoye to work together and interrupt the charge before it fires. Xiaoye responds with an eager cry and immediately dives in, already moving to disrupt the lion's concentration. Xiaoye slams into the lion with everything she has, wrapping rings of fire around it and tearing at the charging skill. The impact is violent and focused. She is trying to break its concentration before the fireball reaches full power. The interruption staggers the lion, but does not come without cost. Lufan is sent sliding hard across the ground from the shockwave, one hand catching himself before he goes down completely. His gear is scorched and his knuckles scrape the rock. He grits his teeth and holds. The disrupted triple flame detonates prematurely. Not as 3 coordinated blasts, but as a chaotic spiral of fire that tears upward into the sky. Lufan is launched upward by the force of it, silhouetted against a wall of flame and roiling smoke. The lion staggers below him, the skill broken. Lufan is still airborne, spinning through fire and debris. The lion's head looms massive below him, stunned but not finished. Lufan tightens his grip on his blade and mutters that it is time to try something new. His eyes are calm, glowing faintly in the firelight. Xiaoye launches herself at the blood lion with mighty jaw assault. She rockets forward jaws first, slamming into the beast with explosive force and sinking her teeth in deep, triggering continuous bleeding across its body. The black dragon clamps down hard on the lion's throat while electricity crackles across both their bodies. Blood splatters everywhere as the 3-headed blood lion writhes under her grip. The system confirms it. Triple flame has been interrupted. The lion never got its shot off. Lufan is already in the air above the stunned lion, flipping to the sky with calm eyes and a grin. He shouts down his approval at Xiaoye. Then the tidal Dragon Fang strike blazes across the panel. He's going in for the finishing blow. Lufan dives straight down and drives Dragon Fang strike directly into the lion's skull. Dragon energy surges through the blade on impact, and the shockwave tears a crater into the ground around the beast's head. The lion takes the full hit with nowhere to go. The impact detonates. The blood lion is blasted into the earth. Rocks explode outward in every direction, and one of its heads goes limp. Lufan lands cleanly a distance away as the dust settles around the fallen monster. It is over. Lufan and Xiaoye float side by side above the defeated 3-headed blood lion, which lies motionless on the ground below them, one eye still faintly glowing before going dark. 2 words are all Lufan needs to say. The experience reward floods in, nearly 24,000 points each. Lufan jumps all the way to level 14 in one go, and Xiaoye surges up to level 9. Lufan admits to himself that elite monsters are genuinely in a different league for leveling. But even so, that single kill only pushed them this far. There is still a long way to go. The treasure map system chimes. A new daily treasure map has just been issued, the second one since Lufan started all of this. Lufan leans back with a scheming look on his face, turning the notification over in his mind. Last time it led him to a dragon egg. He wonders what exclusive Dragon Tamer treasure this one might be pointing toward. Lufan does not hesitate. He calls out to Xiaoye with a grin and declares they are going treasure hunting. Xiaoye springs into the air behind him with a cheerful cry, wings spread wide, clearly just as eager as he is. The scene shifts. Deep within Mount Shi Basin, towering rock formations rise against a pale sky. 2 small figures stand at the base of the cliffs. They are not Lufan and Xiaoye. The 2 figures are revealed, a young woman with long silver blue hair holding a staff, and a broad-shouldered man in heavy armor standing beside her. A third figure in a dark hooded cloak lingers quietly behind them. The silver-haired woman asks with a hint of frustration whether they are really going to let this rare opportunity slip away. The armored man Sunji, a warrior-class professional, explains the problem. The fortuitous realm they have found requires at least 5 people to activate, and their group is 1 short. He suggests sending the silver-haired woman back to Janhai City to recruit more, but before he can finish the thought, the hooded woman cuts him off immediately. She is Miss Kai, a rogue. Even with her agility, a round trip would eat up a full day, and that is time they simply do not have. The silver-haired woman fills in the reason. Fortuitous realms are not like regular dungeons. They appear without warning, offer better rewards, but they vanish after exactly 24 hours. The window is already closing. The silver-haired woman, identified as Kincha, with a profession listed as unknown, stares ahead with a resigned expression. A day is not enough. They are stuck, 1 person short, watching their opportunity drain away by the minute. Sunji tries to reassure the silver-haired woman, telling her not to worry so much. With her strength, the moment she entered one of the top 10 academies, they would definitely provide her with opportunities. The woman turns to him quietly and says she understands all of that. It is just such a pity. Before Sundi can react, a new presence breaks into their field of vision. He snaps around with a sharp "Who?" and there, standing calmly between the canyon walls, is an unfamiliar figure. Sunji and Miss Kai immediately go on guard, while Kinshu stands composed at the center, eyes steady. Lufan steps forward from the rocky passage, one hand raised in a casual wave. He tells them there is no need to be nervous. He is just passing by. Sunji eyes Lufan from head to toe, taking in the dusty clothes and traveler's pack. He says bluntly that someone who looks like that has no business being in a place like this. Qinchu steps forward and introduces herself. She is from the Qin family of Jianghai City. She apologizes for the abrupt approach, then gets straight to the point. She asks if Lufan would be willing to temporarily team up with them. He would not need to do anything, just enter the Fortune's secret realm with the group. In exchange, they would pay him a reward of 100,000 dragon coins. Lufan's foot stops mid-step. The words echo in his mind. Fortune's secret realm. Lufan turns and lets the offer roll around in his head. 100,000 dragon coins. And beyond the money, if even the wealthiest family in Janhai City is going out of their way to enter this place, whatever is waiting inside must be extraordinarily rare. A slow, knowing smile spreads across his face. Qingqiu Tiu adds that they simply need enough people to meet the realm's entry requirement. He does not have to lift a finger. 100,000 dragon coins for doing essentially nothing. The Fortune Secret Realm portal swirls open before them in a massive spiral of purple energy. Sanjay urges everyone to move quickly. An opportunity like this does not come around easily. The group prepares to step in. Lufan smiles and says, money does not particularly interest him, but they could work together according to the rules he has in mind. The 3 of them, Miss Kai in her dark hood, Qinchu gripping her staff, and Sunji standing armored and stone-faced, stare at the stranger who just walked in out of nowhere and started making demands. Miss Kai raises an eyebrow and asks flatly if he means he wants to divide the rewards inside the secret realm based on individual performance. Qinchu goes quiet for a moment. Lufan responds simply, that is right. Qinchu studies him in silence, eyes narrowed slightly. Their group averages around level 20, and this boy in front of her looks weaker by comparison. She turns it over in her mind. Is he genuinely confident in himself or just someone who does not know what he is walking into? Qinchu decides to accept the terms. She extends her hand and tells him that since he wants to cooperate, then they will cooperate properly. As a show of sincerity, the promised 100,000 dragon coins still stands. Lufan takes her hand and shakes it. It has settled them. With the deal made, Qinchu rallies the group and tells everyone to get moving. The party sets off together, Miss Kai, Lufan, Sunji, and Qinchu, heading toward the portal. As they walk, Lufan thinks to himself that revealing Xiaoyo's identity to strangers out here in the wilderness would only invite trouble. Inside the floating summoning space, Xiaoye is curled up, fast asleep, completely unbothered. Lufan tells her quietly that she will have to wait until he secures the secret realm's rewards before he summons her out. Lufan steps forward and crosses the threshold. The purple portal swallows him in a blaze of lightning and swirling light, and then he is gone, vanished into the realm. The group arrives on the other side. The world around them is dark and broken. Dead trees, ashen earth, a sky heavy with purple mist. A system panel materializes before them, displaying the realm's details. Fortune's Secret Realm, Village of Lamentation. Realm level, intermediate. Difficulty, hard. Minimum party size, 5 or more. Sanjay mutters uneasily that this village is far too quiet. The only sound is their own voices. Miss Kai draws her weapon and adds that the air feels heavy, the mist thick, with no sign of life anywhere. Inside the dark village, Sunjay turns to Lu Fan and points at his empty hands. He asks bluntly whether the kid is really walking into this place with absolutely no weapons or equipment at all. Lu Fan does not answer right away. A quiet smirk crosses his face as he thinks to himself that having no weapons or equipment is not quite the problem Sunjay thinks it is. Lu Fan reaches into his pack and draws out a blade that stops everyone cold. It is the Ink Dragon Deer Antler Sword, an epic quality weapon that requires an intermediate level and can only be equipped by a Dragon Tamer or a Dragon Blood Warrior. The sword gleams with dark energy as he raises it, and a trail of fire sweeps through the air behind him. The system panel confirms its stats: strength plus 65, endurance plus 30. Sunji stares at the sword and admits that the weapon looks extraordinary. He changes his tune and asks if Lu Fan might actually be a newly transferred student at this age, rather than just a material hunter. Lu Fan cuts him off coldly and tells him it is none of his business. Behind Sunga, Miss Kai watches in silence and makes a mental note. They are cooperating, but if this boy has any hidden motives, she will deal with him immediately. Without warning, Sunji slams both fists into the ground and triggers a skill, sending jagged shards of ice erupting upward in every direction. The shockwave tears through the mist and sends debris scattering across the ruined village. The first wave of enemies reveals itself. They are decaying zombies level 15, dragging themselves forward with hollow eyes and rotting limbs. The system panel reads out their abilities: Grapple Bite, which entangles and continuously bites the target, and Corpse Poison, which infects any target on contact and causes continuous life drain. Any victim who dies from the poison transforms into another decaying zombie. Chinchu shouts a warning to Sonji to be careful. From behind, a new figure launches into action. The system identifies him. Xiaojia, combat class, level 20 knight. He activates charge and hurls himself forward into the zombie horde at full speed, cutting a path through the crowd surrounding Sunji. Sunji does not miss a beat. He shouts his praise at Xiaojia for the clean opening move. The system panel confirms Sunja's own profile, combat class, level 28 warrior. Behind him, Miss Kai has already raised her crossbow and taken aim. The two of them move in total sync. Xiaojia dashes through the crowd, blade cutting left and right in clean, controlled arcs. Miss Kai covers him from range, bolts flying with precision. The two of them carve through the zombie wave in a coordinated exchange, neither wasting a single movement. Lu Fan watches the fight unfold and quietly reads the battlefield. A warrior, a rogue, and that knight holding the teleportation gate. He notes that the team composition is actually quite solid. Sunji is a level 28 warrior standing right on the threshold of advancing to the second class, which makes him a serious force. The system confirms Miss Kai's profile. Combat class level 23 rogue. Chinchu raises her staff high with both arms, eyes closed, and calls down a torrent of holy energy. Golden lightning crackles out from her body in all directions, arcing across the battlefield in waves. Chinchu releases the skill with a shout. Holy Light Star Rain. Stars of golden fire rain down from above, slamming into the zombie horde and detonating on impact. The system explains the skill. It gathers energy and unleashes starlight that deals holy damage to all enemies in range, while simultaneously restoring the health of every ally caught in the same area. Green healing markers appear above Sunji and the others as the fireballs crash down around them. Lu Fan watches Chinchu work and takes note. She explains herself as the battle continues. Her hidden class is Holy Light Mage, a class that can both attack and heal at the same time. She adds that her damage output is currently lower than a dedicated mage and her healing falls short of a priest, but the fact that she can do both at once is what makes the class unique. The system confirms her profile: Kinchu, level 13, basic, hidden combat class, Holy Light Mage. Lu Fan takes it in quietly and says he understands. He thinks to himself that this is another hidden class. And beyond that, holy damage turns out to be especially effective against undead enemies like these zombies, making Kinchu a particularly strong pick for a dungeon like this one. A tremor runs through the ground. Miss Kai and Kinchu both feel it beneath their feet and exchange a quick glance. Somewhere nearby, something larger is moving. Fan catches it first. He narrows his eyes and tells the group that an elite monster has been alerted. The zombie groans grow louder and more layered, and he adds that judging by the sound alone, there are quite a few of them closing in. A massive dark hand bursts through the ground right beneath Yachia, shattering the earth in all directions. The impact is sudden and violent, sending rocks flying as the hidden creature tears itself free from below. The elite emerges fully. It is a bloodthirsty zombie, level 20. Its eyes glow with cold blue light, and several more of the same creature claw their way up from the ground behind it. The system panel reads its skills: Blood-Sucking Bite, which locks onto a target and heals itself while damaging them. Corpse poison, which infects on every hit while also restoring the zombie's own health, and bloodlust, a frenzy state that raises strength and agility by 40%. The creature lets out a deep, rattling growl. Sunji takes immediate command. He shouts at Kai Er to protect Qin and Lu Fan, then turns to Xiaojia and orders him to hold the front line together. He tells Xiaojia not to let a single one of these things break through to the rear. Sunji charges straight into the bloodthirsty zombie with his massive red sword raised. Xiaojia moves in right behind him, shield up and blade ready. The two of them slam into the elite monster together, holding the line while the others stay protected behind them. Xiaojia drives the bloodthirsty zombie back with a powerful shield bash, using the recoil to launch himself upward off the monster's body. He flips through the air and comes down with his blade aimed directly at the creature below. The battle is only just beginning. Sunji drops down from above and brings his blade across in a wide, sweeping arc, shouting, "Full Moon Slash." The strike lands clean across the bloodthirsty zombie's torso, sending a shockwave tearing through the ground beneath it. The hit is powerful, but the zombie barely flinches. Xiaojia shouts Lunge and drives forward with his blade, but the moment the weapon sinks in, something goes wrong. The zombie's body clamps around the blade and he cannot pull it free. He stares in disbelief, unable to draw his weapon back out. The situation gets worse fast. The corpse poison ability activates, and a thick purple miasma begins seeping out of the zombie's body, spreading across the ground. The system reminder flashes. Any attack infects the target with corpse poison, causing continuous life drain while healing the zombie itself. Xiaozhi stares at the expanding cloud of rot and can barely get the words out. Qin watches with wide eyes and explains the danger to the group. This is corpse poison, a status that can only be cleansed by a priest's purify skill. As a holy light mage, she cannot dispel it. Sunji's face tightens as he hears her say it. Without a priest in the group, Xiaojia has no way out of the poison on his own. Xiaojia, already turning pale from the poison spreading through him, screams at Sunja for help. The purple miasma churns around him and the zombie looms over his trapped body. His voice cracks with panic as he calls out. Sunji rolls hard to the side to avoid the zombie's next swing, comes back up on his feet, and shouts at Xiaojia to let go of the weapon and get clear. The bloodthirsty zombie stands behind him, radiating dark energy, eyes glowing red, its power visibly growing as the poison continues spreading. Sunji grabs Xiaojia and hauls him back from the front, then shouts at Kair to move up and cover the gap against the remaining zombies closing in from the sides. The situation is slipping fast and the team is losing ground. Lu Fan steps forward from behind the group, his voice calm and flat. He tells Sunji there is no need to trouble Kair. Lu Fan walks out in front of the whole group, ink dragon deer antler, sword in hand, eyes glowing faintly red, posture completely relaxed. Behind him, Sunji and Xiaojia are still on the ground. Kair hovers midair ready to move, and Qin stands gripping her staff. Every one of them stares at his back as he faces the bloodthirsty zombie alone and says simply, "Let me handle it." The bloodthirsty zombie charges straight at Lu Fan. Sunji shouts at him to back off, but Lu Fan stands his ground without flinching. Lu Fan's eyes go sharp and gold. He draws back his sword and unleashes a full-force slash, sending a shockwave ripping through the zombie. The strike is clean and far heavier than anything the rest of the team could manage. The zombie staggers, gashes torn across its body. Sunjie, Xiaojia, and Miss Kai all stare in silence, frozen in disbelief. Lu Fan stands completely composed, as if none of it took much effort at all. Qin stares wide-eyed at the aftermath, unable to form a sentence. Sunjie looks up from the ground and manages only a stunned half-question. Lu Fan hoists the massive red sword over one shoulder and tells the group there is no time to stop. They have to keep pushing forward. Sunji demands to know what level Lu Fan actually is, insisting it is impossible for a newly transferred student to carry that kind of attack power. Behind him, Qin channels a healing skill toward the wounded Xiaojia. Lu Fan answers plainly. He is a level 14 student and he has no reason to lie about it. He came to Stone Plain for the great exam practice, same as any student would. Qin finishes stabilizing Xiaojia and processes what she just heard. A student from the same year as her, level 14, hitting harder than Sunjia at level 28. The numbers do not add up. Before the group can say another word, another bloodthirsty zombie lunges straight at Qin from out of the mist. She does not have time to react. Miss Kai moves first, throwing herself between the zombie and Qin and firing her crossbow to knock it back mid-lunge. Lu Fan and Miss Kai pass each other at speed, their faces coming within inches as they cross. Miss Kai's eyes go wide for just a moment, caught off guard by how fast he is already moving. Lu Fan reaches the zombie and drives his blade in with golden energy surging through the impact. blowing the creature back with one decisive hit. Lu Fan pulls his sword free and notes calmly that the zombie levels inside this village are only going to keep climbing the deeper they go. Lu Fan turns back to the group. A second bloodthirsty zombie stands behind him, green cracks spreading across its body. He tells everyone he will hold the front line from here and asks if they are fine with that. The group goes silent. Sunji, Qinchu, and Xiaojia say nothing. Ms. Kai lingers slightly apart, thinking to herself quietly, wondering whether this could be the person the rumors in Shanghai City have been circling around lately. Qingchu smiles and tells Lu Fan she will count on him, classmate. She lays out the formation. Lu Fan and Sunji lead the front. She takes care of the wounded Xiaojia in the middle, and Kai Air covers the rear. The Mystic Realm Guardian should be somewhere inside the village. When Qingchu calls him classmate, Lu Fan simply replies, "Just call him Lu Fan." He does not look back as he says it. Lu Fan waves a hand and tells everyone to move. He walks ahead into the dark village, Ink Dragon Deer Antler, sword in hand, leading the way deeper in. The rest of the group follows in silence. Sunji lets out a quiet grunt under his breath. Kair thinks to herself, Lu Fan, the rumored hidden class Dragon Tamer that recently appeared in Shanghai City. Qingchu stares ahead as they move, turning it over in her mind. If he really is the Dragon Tamer, then the class that was always called the weakest should not be producing results like this. Lu Fan cuts down another zombie in their path as the group presses on. The scene cuts to the village center of the Mystic Realm, where Lu Fan and Sunji hold the front, while Qinchu supports from behind with Xiaojia. Lu Fan thinks through the situation as he fights. Qinchu's class cannot remove the corpse poison from Xiaojia. The only way to unlock the teleportation gate and get Xiaojia out is to defeat the Mystic Realm Guardian. If the poison spreads too far, Xiaojia will die and turn into a zombie himself. Kair scans the village center and reports that there is no sign of the Mystic Realm Guardian anywhere. Something about this does not feel right. Sunji holds the line as more zombies close in from the ruins around them. The horde is pressing in from every direction, and the battlefield is getting harder to manage. Xiaojia, pale from the spreading poison, forces himself upright and shouts a warning to Sunja to watch his back. From behind the group, Qinchu screams at Xiaojia to hold on. A zombie has gotten through and slashes at Xiaojia from below, knocking him down. Sunji shouts Xiaojia's name. Sunji and Qinchu both freeze in alarm. Something enormous is moving in the ruins behind the zombie horde. The ruins explode outward. A massive creature tears itself free from the wreckage, towering over everything around it. It is made of stone and dark energy with multiple skull faces embedded across its body, all glowing red. The Mystic Realm Guardian has finally appeared. The system panel displays its full profile. Iron Skin Zombie, level 20. It carries corpse poison on every hit and assimilation absorption skill that lets it absorb targets and merge them into its own body to raise its maximum HP and steel skin. A passive that raises defense and endurance by 40%. Experience reward, 37,220. Kai Air spots the Iron Skin Zombie and announces that the Mystic Realm Guardian has finally appeared. Lu Fan quickly pieces it together. Xiaojia's corpse poison has grown severe enough to attract the Iron Skin Zombie. He warns everyone to take it down fast before it uses assimilation absorption on Xiaojia. Sunji charges in immediately and unleashes Moonlight Slash, driving a wide arc of energy into the Iron Skin Zombie's body. The attack barely leaves a mark. Sunji stares in disbelief, unable to understand how a level 28 warrior's full power cannot even scratch it. The Iron Skin Zombie's steel skin passive is absorbing everything. Lu Fan reads the situation instantly. If the corpse poison keeps drawing more Iron Skin Zombies to Xiaojia, there is no time to let the team chip away at it slowly. He dashes in without hesitation. Lu Fan slams into the Iron Skin Zombie with a full force strike, blasting a crack through its stone armor. The impact is massive, far beyond what Sunji managed. The Iron Skin Zombie roars and activates Steel Skin, its entire body hardening further and pulsing with dark energy as the skill takes full effect. Lu Fan narrows his eyes and thinks fast. 2 more solid hits should be enough to bring it down, but he needs to move faster. He glances at the Ink Dragon Scale Sword panel and lands on one word: Dragon Blood Armorization. The Iron Skin Zombie begins charging assimilation absorption, its eyes locking onto Xiaojia below. It growls, drawn by the scent of fresh flesh. Qinchu and Xiaojia are right in front of it with nowhere to run. Lu Fan shouts at Qinchu to hit it with her holy spells at the same time as him, and tells Sunja to pull back and protect Xiaojia and Chai. Lu Fan grips the sword and activates Dragon Blood Armorization. His arm begins to transform, red dragon energy surging up through his skin as dark scales crack and spread across his fist and forearm. The system confirms it, the Ink Dragon Scale Sword's special effect, a partial dragonization that boosts dragonization power. Shinshu responds immediately. She raises her staff and channels Holy Energy, the crystal at the tip blazing gold as she charges Holy Starlight. Lu Fan's dragon arm is fully active now, his hair wild, eyes burning gold. He locks onto the iron skin zombie and rockets toward it. Lu Fan drives his dragonized fist directly into the iron skin zombie's chest. At the same moment, Kinchul's Holy Starlight crashes into it from the other side. Dragon energy and holy light collide on the boss in a massive detonating blast, green healing markers appearing above the group as the combined attack lands.